Right. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to this webinar on, or rather workshop on migrating from smart reporting to BMC Helix dashboards. I'm Nikhil Deshpande, along with Abhinay Dubey and Kshitija Marathe. I'm going to cover this workshop to make it easier for you to migrate from smart reporting to Helix dashboards. Before we get started, I want to let our participants know that this workshop is being recorded. We will be sharing with you a link to this recording. This recording will also be posted on our social channels as well as on YouTube. Uh, let's begin with a quick round of introductions. I'm Nikhil Deshpande. I am a Principal Product Manager for Helix Dashboards here at BMC. And in my role as a product manager, I work closely with our customers and partners to identify use cases to make it easier for us to align with your plans and your roadmaps for growing your usage of reporting and dashboards. My co-presenters today are Abhinay Dubey and Kshitija Marathe. So Abhinay and Kshitija, can you introduce yourself, please?
Thank you, Nikhil. Hey, hello all. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Abhinay. I'm a practice manager with professional services at BMC, and I take care of DSOM, few product lines within DSOM and DBA. I also drive an initiative, Helix Center of Innovation for Dashboards. I'll be talking about strategy to migrate from smart reporting to Helix dashboard. Over to you, Shitaja.
Hello everyone, my name is Kshitija Marathe. I'm part of Helix Dashboards R&D team. I'm working as a product developer in R&D, and I'll be talking or covering Visual Query Builder, which is a very effective feature of Helix Dashboards. Thank you. I'll hand it over to Nikhil.
Thank you, Kshitija. We're now ready to begin. So I'm going to turn off my video camera and I'll begin in a moment. So before going ahead, I wanted to let everyone know we run these workshops regularly, migrating from smart reporting to Helix dashboards. Our next workshop is scheduled for 26th June at 7:30 p.m. IST. We also have a webinar coming up on 24th of July, which is focused on learning about the key features of the upcoming Dashboards 24.3 release. This one is scheduled on 24th July at 7:30 p.m. IST. I've provided QR codes for registrations. If you wish to register for these workshops, you can do it right away. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, Nikhil.
For this workshop, there are two prerequisite training courses, which I'm sure you should have taken by now. Both of them are available on BMC Academy. First one is Fundamentals of BMC Helix Dashboards. It's a web-based training program. And the second one is on the migration tool. So you should have done these courses because we assume that you're familiar with the fundamentals of dashboards as well as conversion. This workshop is focused on something on best practices and to augment what you have already learned through these training courses. Legal notice will be covering a few roadmap items. So if you're planning to make any purchase decisions, please do so based on features that are generally available. Let's begin with an understanding of service ops. Just give me a moment. So what exactly is service ops? For far too long, IT organizations have had broadly two organizational units, IT service management and IT operations management. IT service management focuses on service desk, ITIL practices such as incident, problem, change, knowledge, service catalog, and so on. Whereas operations management focuses on events, metrics, capacity, availability, and so on. But these two organizations have worked as silos in the past, and the walls between these two units are not good for helping the organization realize its goals. The solution to this problem is service ops. Service ops is a cohesive strategy to bring IT operations management and IT service management together. And how do we do it? We do it by leveraging AI. We bring AI in all of these areas of service management and operations management to enable your staff to not only be more productive, but to deliver transformational capabilities to your business units. Ultimately, it's a job of IT to make the business more competitive. It's not just serving, it's not just about service desk tickets and events and capacity. IT organizations need to enable their internal customers, the business, the lines of business, to be more competitive in the market so that your company can compete head on with established enterprises as well as nimble startups. So we do this by using AI wherever appropriate. We also do this by fostering collaboration across all these units. There's the increasing influence of DevOps over the past several years. Service management should not be an obstacle to DevOps. Service ops should enable the DevOps movement in any company to flourish. And that's exactly what this is all about. In the last few years, we've seen that service processes that were set up in IT service management initially, companies want to replicate those processes, practices across lines of business. This is because today, anyone, any function that's not in the business of serving internal customers or external customers is in the business of serving internal customers. So think of all functions like HR, facilities, marketing, finance. All of them have internal customers, and they need to align themselves with the best practices of service management, service catalog management, service level management that IT service management has had for a long time. All of this is a part of BMC's service ops strategy. Dashboarding, or the craft of enabling business managers to derive insights from their service management and operations management products, is an integral part of service ops. That brings us to BMC Helix dashboard. So where exactly does dashboards fit into this jigsaw puzzle? So BMC Helix dashboards is built on Grafana. Grafana is a state-of-the-art technology for dashboards and reports. We're increasingly seeing Grafana becoming more and more popular in the market. Grafana helps you consume information in an action-oriented way. Whenever anyone runs a report, the end goal is to have insights into business processes. In service management and operations management, typically this is incidents, problems, changes, chatbot conversations, events, metrics, and so on. Dashboards, Helix dashboards allows you to connect to your data sources to fetch data that can be presented in a meaningful way to enable you to make decisions. Now, these decisions could be strategic decisions or operational decisions, tactical decisions. Helix Dashboards does this by presenting data through a wide range of visualizations. We have created visualizations that are apt for service ops use cases. And these visualizations help your consumers of information consume your dashboard data in a meaningful way. Now, although we use Grafana as a dashboard solution, BMC has developed key IP that enables us to have greater control over delivering features that are important to our customers. These features are primarily in areas like scheduling, exporting, and distribution. We also have an extensive set of out-of-the-box dashboards that we are sure you'll find useful. We continue to build dashboard content continually based on feedback we receive from our customers. BMC Helix Dashboards works with all the key BMC Helix products. The good thing about dashboards is that this is one solution, one dashboarding solution for the entire range of BMC Helix solutions. So why is dashboards the right solution for you? I talked about the service ops vision, but it's more than that. Dashboards is fundamentally a common dashboarding framework for all service and operations management solutions on the Helix platform. An integral part of this service ops story is to be able to drive outcomes in one domain based on what happens in another domain. So you've got events, metrics, capacity on the operations management side. We can have insights from these drive incidents or changes in service management. And this is tightly embedded into BMC Helix solutions, including in dashboards. And based on how you use BMC Helix products, you can build dashboards that allow your business managers to derive insights across ITOM and ITSM. If you've got multiple out-of-the-box dashboards available, you can use them as necessary. You can customize them based or extend them based on your needs. We've got more than 36 out-of-the-box dashboards in service management and more than 15 in operations management. And this list keeps on growing all the time. So in ITSM, we've got 4 dashboards in asset management. There's an asset overview dashboard that gives you a comprehensive overview of your asset estate. It also covers compliance, contracts. You may have support contracts or warranty contracts for your assets, your inventories. So we've got a dedicated dashboard for each of these areas. Then there's an aging incident analysis dashboard. Service desk managers need to keep a watch on aging incidents because these are always a risk to missing SLAs. And every service desk has got incidents that have aged, that have remained open for weeks or months. They need a tool to be on top of all such incidents. There's an application availability dashboard as well. We've also got dashboards in changes in DevOps. So as the DevOps movement is growing by leaps and bounds in most companies, service management organizations need dashboards that enable them to know what's going on, to show the pace of progress in terms of number of changes, and not just the number of changes deployed, what changes are successful, which ones have failed, which ones are successful with issues, and so on. We've got dashboards on SLA performance. We have got ITSM Insights is an early implementation of artificial intelligence in ITSM. So we've got one dashboard on ITSM Insights. Knowledge-centered support is an integral part of all progressive service desk organizations. We've got a KCS effectiveness and efficiency dashboard. We've got a dashboard on major incidents. This is another important ITIL practice that service desk teams need to be on top of. There's a dashboard on open problem analysis. Problem managers, their biggest challenge is to be able to identify which problems are worth pursuing. At any time, there are many areas where problem managers should be focusing on. And there's so much noise in the system, so many repetitive incidents, outages, and so on, that they often find it difficult to identify which problems are worth pursuing and which problems can enable the service desk to meet and exceed its goals of customer service and service level management. The Open Problem Analysis dashboard helps in do that. There's a service request overview dashboard that enables you to have insights into the service catalog or what's the status of service requests. CMDB. In CMDB, we have got two dashboards, a data quality dashboard and an overview dashboard. One of the challenges in configuration management is that configuration management is a practice which deals with data hygiene, data quality. In most IT organizations, in enterprises, IT organizations may be large. There may be 500, 700, maybe more people in IT. But the number of people in the configuration management team is usually less than 10. Sometimes just 2 or 3 people may manage the entire CMDB. So how do we assist these configuration managers to be on top of their configuration management goals? These dashboards help them do just that. In business workflows, we've got a range of dashboards. So there's a web business workflows dashboards. Companies need to be on top of active user licenses to be compliant. So there's a dashboard to help you keep a watch on active user license usage. There's a CSAT metrics dashboard. There's a dashboard on service targets against cases and so on. In the service catalog arena, we've got DWP request overview dashboard. We've got dashboards in live chat as well as on virtual agent. On the operations management side, we have got several dashboards in Helix operations management. So events, metrics, specific metrics around Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle database, and so on. In Helix Automation Console, we have got two dashboards. In Log Analytics, we have got dashboards. We also have an audit dashboard for the Helix portal. Last but not the least, service dashboard is, again, an extension of our service op story. It shows metrics across ITSM and ITOM because based on our conversations with customers and analysts, we know that IT organizations, IT leaders are looking for ITSM and ITOM to work together. And this service dashboard can help you do that. It shows metrics across ITSM and ITOM all on one dashboard. So within one dashboard, you can have one data source on Helix Service Management, and you can have one data source on Helix Operations Management, and you can bring all that data together, show it on one dashboard. We have published a complete list of out-of-the-box dashboards in our product documentation. So these are all the BMC Helix products for which we've got out-of-the-box dashboards. There's Helix ITSM, which includes Smart IT. There's CMDB, business workflows, digital workplace, virtual agent, broadly all service management products. If you use Helix Innovation Suite, which by the way includes any licensing that you have around the AR system, or which also includes Innovation Studio. And if you have built any custom applications on Innovation Suite, then that also is covered by Helix dashboards. Helix Portfolio Management is also part of the service management suite. On IT operations management side also, almost all of our IT operations management products are covered by dashboards. Now let's look at a few sample out-of-the-box dashboards. So the first one is a DWP request overview dashboard. As you can see, it shows your service catalog manager an overview of how many requests have been raised, how many are active, fulfilled, awaiting approval, and so on. So all those top metrics in terms of or statistics around a certain action or a count of records that is presented here. You also see a trend of daily submission, daily fulfillment, aging by buckets. So how can this help? Service desk management teams they also need to do workforce planning. They need to ensure that they've got sufficient staff on the service desk to enable fulfillment of service level agreements, as well as ensure that customers are being delivered service that meets their needs. So this dashboard can help them in staffing decisions on the service desk. So which are the top categories or the top requested business services for which requests are being raised? Depending on this dashboard, they can make decisions or make recommendations on adequate staffing or move staff around different support teams. This is the service dashboard that I mentioned a short while back. It brings data from service management and operations management. You can see in the first row, there are statistics cards uh, on health score, number of situations, schedule availability. All of these come from IT operations management. At the bottom, we have got statistics on incidents, average age, SLAs, and so on. We also have some statistic cards on events. And then this timeline that you see at the center, health score, events, and incidents, this shows on one panel, it shows incidents. We've got data from ITSM as well as ITOM. So based on this data, your service desk teams or our operations management teams can correlate what's happening in ITSM with what's happening in ITOM. Helix Dashboards is packed with features, and we don't just build visualizations just because we need to have it. If you've been using smart reporting, you may have noticed that smart reporting has far more number of visualizations than dashboards does. So is that a problem? Not at all, because we are focusing on visualizations that are relevant to service ops use cases. Based on customer feedback, we know that the visualizations that we have are sufficient for almost all of the use cases. If you have a use case where these visualizations are not sufficient, please reach out to us and let us and make us aware of what your use cases are. An even better way is to create an idea on BMC community, or before you do that, you can see what communities or ideas are already there and vote for ideas that resonate with you. But broadly, what we see is that these visualizations, BMC crosstab, BMC record details, BMC bar chart, BMC combination chart, all of these uh, are sufficient for a vast majority of visualization needs. We continue to expand this list of visualizations. So all these visualizations that are prefixed with BMC, these have been custom designed by BMC. And the ones that don't have that BMC prefix are shipped by Grafana out of the box. So we have continued to build custom plugins for visualization. One of the recent ones is BMC table, which is currently in progress. So you'll see that coming up in one of our upcoming releases. Why is dashboards a better solution than smart reporting for our customers? Firstly, it's about Grafana. It's a technology that's proven for scale and performance. In the IT operations management scale, you're dealing with records or events of the order of millions or tens of millions events generated over time. You need a dashboarding solution that can scale to these needs. Even in service management, you may be having data in a wide range of databases that BMC supports for service management. You need a tool, you need a single tool with which you can generate dashboards from service management as well as operations management. And Grafana is the only tool in the market that can do that. You've seen that Grafana is widely being used in the market by several vendors. Another good thing about Grafana is that you've got skilled resources available in the job market. If you wish to hire people with Grafana skills, it's easy to find them. Not only that, but you can also reskill some of your existing developers or business analysts to build reports with Grafana. And once your team has developed skills on Grafana on Helix dashboards, you can use their skills to build dashboards for the entire suite of BMC Helix products. All the 15 products that I mentioned earlier, all of them, you can use people with those dashboarding skills for all of those products. Next, we're going to look at a few dashboards that BMC IT has developed. So within BMC, we have got our IT function that uses most of our BMC Helix products. They also use dashboards, and they've developed a few custom dashboards that they use to run their business. So let's look at some of these. The first one is a CIO dashboard. CIOs and other senior IT leaders need a dashboard to help them stay on top of what's going on in IT. They want to be sure of all the bad news. Bad news needs to travel fast up to the top. And they want to be sure that they're not taken unawares, that there are no unpleasant surprises about what's going on. The CIO dashboard gives them a bird's eye view of everything that's happening in service management and operations management. You can see it has got statistics cards based on events, critical, major, minor, and so on, how many business services, technical services there are, a further breakdown of these by services, technical services that are impacted by outages. Which are the top services that are down? Which are the top services by events? You also have a complete overview of the number of hosts, number of virtual machines, number of people in IT, your data centers. All of that is captured on this one dashboard. The next one is an SSL certificate expiration dashboard. An important part of information security is to ensure that all of your infrastructure has the necessary SSL certificates. And these SSL certificates need to be current. They need to be valid at all times. If you've got SSL certificates expiring, that is a risk. It's a security risk that your organization cannot afford to have. This dashboard shows you all of your SSL certificates ordered by their expiration date. So it draws your attention or the attention of the security team to those SSL certificates that are close to expiration so that they can then alert the people in those areas to take action in time. There's a VMware vCenter overview dashboard that helps you keep a watch on your VMware estate. So your vCenter availability, how many clusters, you have your overall status of all vCenter clusters. You see for you see a panel on CPU utilization, memory utilization, top 5 data stores by disk utilization. So the team that manages VMware infrastructure, they use this dashboard to be aware of what's going on in the vCenter. This dashboard makes use of gauges. So gauges are a good visualization to depict data, typically when it's on a continuum of 0 to 100, typically percentages. So availability is a good example. You would expect availability to be 100% or close to 100%. What is it actually? In reality, what is the percentage? Uh, Such a visualization, a gauge visualization can help you depict that. So this one is an application availability dashboard that's also used. The service desk team at IT uses an incident aging analysis. I mentioned about those incidents that are open for too long, and incidents that are open for too long often indicate there are some problems around ownership or around certain business services or technical services. So it shows you in each time bucket, 7 to 14 days, 14 to 30 days, and more than 30 days, how many incidents you have. There's a further breakdown by by assigned group. So you can, for all those incidents that are open for a long time, the service desk team or the incident manager can then reach out to the teams that have the most number of open incidents and have them take timely action. Open incidents also, so this one also shows number of reassignments. So too many incidents that are open for more than 30 days are being reassigned, which indicates that there is no clear ownership of certain incidents. This may indicate some process issues, and these may throw up opportunities for continual improvement, which is an important part of continual service improvement is one of the pillars of ITIL, and service desk teams or service management teams need to continually improve their services. So this can be an input to your continual service improvement initiatives. This panel here makes use of a crosstab visualization. It's a crosstab between incident age and priority. So you can now slice and dice data across these two dimensions, priority and age. And based on this, you can look at outliers. You can see there are almost 3,000 incidents that are open for more than 30 days. But if you break this down further, you see more than 1,200 incidents are open for more than 30 days. And this can help your service desk managers to then uh, identify areas where they should be investigating these issues. Problem managers use the Open Problem Analysis dashboard. It throws light on several areas, open problems, critical problems, known errors, and so on. This also has a crosstab between priority and investigation status. Problem managers often lead, they have to lead through others. So they also need to know which teams have got the most open problems. And accordingly, they need to chase these teams to take actions in time. With that, I'm now ready to hand off to Abhinay for the next part of this workshop on migrations. Over to
Thank
you,
you,
Abhinay.
Nikhil. Thank you. Let me share my screen. Please tell me when you are able to see my screen.
Yes, it is visible. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Like I talked about myself at the beginning of the session, I'm a practice manager with consulting services, professional services at PMC. And as part of that, I'm also driving a center of excellence for Helix Dashboard. And as part of this initiative, we provide a bi-directional channel between the field and the product team. And so we take all the learnings from the field, all the good and bad experiences from the field, and pass it back to the product team for product improvement. And at the same time, we take all the latest knowledge of all the latest features, build best practices and guidelines around work deployment of these products. So when we are working with customers, we are able to deliver the best of the quality. All right, so today we are going to talk about how do you get this journey started moving from smart reporting to Helix Dashboard. Nikhil has given a very strong why we should move from the older product to this new product from BMC. What are the benefits? What are the new features? And now let's take a look at how we can do that. What are the best practices? What are the learnings from others? So based on our experience working with multiple customers doing this transition, we have established this migration framework, which is divided in 5 major phases. It starts with a prepare phase, which is where we are right now. So all of you attending the awareness sessions like this one, going through trainings. So all of this is your prepare phase. It sets you up for the next phase, which is planning. Now, uh, when you're doing planning, the first thing that you would want to understand is what is your current smart reporting usage. So assessment of SR usage, then that will help you in filtering and prioritizing the reports that need to be migrated. And we'll talk about the importance of this later in this session. And once we have this, we do a deep dive analysis and planning of all the subsequent phases. That will lead us to migrate and validate, which go hand in hand. Now, under migrate, you do the conversion, whether automated, manual, using some of the new features. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, but essentially it goes hand in hand with validate. Does the converted report make sense to the end user? If not, then to modify and iterate. Finally, it leads to the transition where if you have an external team working with you, whether it's PMCPS or whether it's a partner, they'll do a knowledge transfer and a handover to your team. And throughout this journey, it is expected that while this conversion is going on, it is expected that you are getting ready, you as an organization are getting ready for this change. So that includes uh, all the necessary trainings for the end users, consumers of the reports. At the same time, the developers, the people who are going to develop new reports later on. We'll take a closer look at some of these aspects and take a look at a sample migration plan based on this framework. So let's talk about assessment of smart reporting usage. So now now that we understand after the prepare phase, this will go into planning phase, which is and where the first thing that you need to do is assessment. When we are doing assessment, there are few differences between the two platforms which we need to be cognizant of. And there are many other feature differences between the two platforms, but we are not focused on those right now. We are only focused on the ones which have a big impact on time and effort of this migration. So first thing that you should understand, and you've gone through some of those prerequisite trainings, so you notice in smart reporting world there are different type of objects, reports, and dashboard. But if you look at Helix dashboard, everything is our dashboard with one or more panels. So, for example, in smart reporting world, you have uh, rep, uh, reports with single visualization, multiple visualization. You have co-display reports, which have embedded reports in it. You have dashboards, which have reports linked into it. While if you look at Helix dashboard, for single visualizations, it's basically a dashboard with a single panel. Whereas if you have a co-display, if you have a dashboard, if you have a report with multiple visualization, everything maps to uh, a dashboard with multiple panels. Broadcasts are uh, in Helix dashboard world called schedules. Then you have report linking, different type of report linking in smart reporting, drill down, drill throughs, which are all called links within Helix dashboard. Now you will also notice some of these object types are supported by the migration utility. And for the visualizations, it's a conditional support. So basically meaning specific type of visualizations can be converted and some cannot be. Let's talk about that. So here is a mapping between the visualization types. Now, this is changing with new product releases. So I would encourage you to go and take a look at the latest documentation out there to see what's the current um, set of visualizations available and how they map. But you'll see mostly you'll have a corresponding visualization type, whether maybe uh, it may function a little differently, but it serves the same purpose. So in smart reporting world, you had different type of bar charts, horizontal, vertical, 3D, 2D. But if you look at Helix dashboard, everything is bar chart, but these can be configured to look the way you would prefer. But you'll also notice in some cases, there are no corresponding visualization types in Helix dashboard. The two platforms are built on different technologies and for different purpose. Like Nikhil was saying, we are focused more on service ops use cases. So not all visualizations may make sense here. So not everything would be provided. Now we understand what are the object types that have that we need to be cognizant of when we are talking about time and effort of this migration. Let's talk about the actual assessment. So number one is number of reports, how many reports you are eventually going to migrate. Next is the type of report, whether it's a co-display report, whether it's a single standalone report. How many visualizations are there? How many of those visualizations are supported by the conversion utility? The complexity of report, so how complex the report is, which would the complexity would depend on different factors for different type of reports. So for instance, a co-display report, as you can imagine, the more the number of embedded child reports, the complexity goes up. For other standalone reports, the complexity is generally determined by number of calculated fields, the type of database functions that you're using, and so on. We also need to understand how frequently a report was run and also when was it last run. This is not related to time and effort directly, but it helps you understand what reports are not really in use and do not need to be migrated, and therefore will have a big impact on the overall timelines. So this is another key factor that we need to understand when we are doing this assessment. The other features which again we need to understand would be the usage would be dashboards, broadcast, drill down, drill through, report linking. Now, to find out all of these, the usage along all these factors, you can use assessment queries that are available on BMC documentation. So you'll have different queries which are looking into a specific type of these this data points. And let me take you through a sample assessment to give you an idea what we are talking about. So I'll stop sharing my PowerPoint and I'll share a spreadsheet. So hope you all can see my screen. Now this spreadsheet, the assessment report that you see is using a customized version of those assessment queries, which PS uses for when we are working with a customer for our assessment and effort estimation. But it's all based on the same queries which are available on BMC documentation. We have just tweaked it to make it easier for PS to do its job. Now, as you can see, these are the factors, the same factors that we talked about in last couple of slides. So we are talking about how many reports we have. So we get a count of report. We get an indication of when that was last run. Now this will be different for every organization. Some organizations are just happy looking at last 90 days. Some may want to look at 100 days, 180 days. So you may want to see how far back you want to take a look. The further back you are looking back, uh, the less used reports will show up. So these are the reports which are most common, most highly used in recent past. So this is what we want to understand. Whether the report is public or private, and I'll come back to this when we are talking about some of the learnings from other customers. But public, as you know, is visible to entire organization, but private is only visible to the creator of that report. Then you have different visualization types, calculated fields within a report, database functions, report linking. If it's a code display report, how many child reports we are talking about? If it's a part of another dashboard, and finally the broadcast. Now, once you have this data, you'll have an understanding of how many visualizations will be supported from this list. What is the usage of these? What is the complexity of reports? All the factors that we discussed in our PowerPoint slide. Now, let me jump back to the PowerPoint and let's move forward. Now let's put all of this together in a sample migration strategy. So again, this is a sample example. It may look a little different depending on the way organization functions, but it aligns to the migration framework that we talked about at the beginning of this session. So we have already talked about the prepare phase, which leads us to planning. We talked about the assessment. Next comes filtering and prioritizing. So now we understand what is the usage of certain report, when was it last used. So we can filter out the reports which we don't need to migrate, the ones which are not in use, which are and which are redundant and so on. So we filter all those out and then we prioritize the remaining. So a highly used report would obviously be high priority, but there may be other factors which may influence. So there's a quarterly report, a report which is run quarterly, but then again, it may be high priority. You may want to migrate. So depending on different factors, you can prioritize that list. Now, that will help you in defining a much tighter scope for the pilot phase. So the recommendation is that you further divide all this prioritized list into different phases: a pilot phase, followed by next, which is the top priority reports, followed by the next set of priority reports, and so on. This will allow you, or if you have a PS working with you, this will allow the two teams to jointly understand, analyze, and do an estimate how each of those reports need to be handled, which is basically whether we want to do a conversion of that report, whether we want to recreate that report on new platform, or whether we want to reuse something else out of box. So that once we know what we want to do with each of those reports, we can proceed with the migration. Like I said, migrate and validate will go hand in hand. So I'm not dividing the two; they'll be much tighter coupled. And as a general rule, what I've seen is the closer the two phases are locked with each other, the better, the more smoother the conversion is, rather than doing all the migration and then doing a validation at the end, and then finding out a bunch of reports need to be redone. So the the um, the quicker the feedback, the smoother the process. Now we pick up all the ones that need to be converted. So we're not talking about recreate or reuse right now. We're talking about the ones that need to be converted. The first step would be to run the migration tool, see what reports can be migrated, and we'll have a fair idea based on the assessment that we have done at the beginning. So we will have a fair idea. Some of the reports will not be able to convert using the automated fashion. So these reports need to be recreated manually, just like the others that you may want to recreate for other reasons. And we'll talk a little more about this when we may want to recreate. So now we have recreated certain reports. We have used the tool to convert other reports. Finally, when we are happy with our internal testing that these reports look good, we have done a gap analysis comparing them with smart reporting. These can be released to the end users for user acceptance tests. If the end users are happy with the reports, they can be taken live, or else go back to the migration phase, conversion phase, and make the changes. Once we go live, if there is an external team involved, a BMCPS or a partner, then they'll need to do a knowledge transfer, how this migration was achieved, what were the learnings, what were some of the tricky parts which you may need to know if you are doing something later on your own. This will end the pilot phase, and then the learnings and whatever we have done can be applied to the next phase, which is next set of priority reports. Throughout this conversion, if an external team was involved, then at the same time, it is expected that you as an organization are also getting ready to take this transfer from that team through learning and enablements. All right, now, are there learnings from other customers that can benefit you? Surely there are, and we'll talk about some of the key learnings from the field. So number one that we have seen across the board, across all customers, is a report sprawl. Over a period of time, because most of the customers don't put a governance model to control who creates the report, uh, pretty much everyone is trying to create their own report for their own consumption, which may not make sense for a wider organization. And then over a period of time, most of these reports are not used. What we have seen is 50% or more reports are generally not needed. And this number varies from one customer to other customers, but what we have seen is this can go as high as 90%. So 90% of reports are not in use or not needed. Only 10% of them are really needed to be migrated. So this is very uh, important and important factor to be cognizant of, because this will have biggest impact when we are talking about how many reports to migrate. Now, the reasons for these reports, which are not really required, but they are lying there, can be many. Number one is they were one-time reports. So somebody created for uh, taking a look at something for one-time use. It was not really needed anytime later. The other reason, common reason that we have seen is owners changing. Uh, it could be that owner has moved out to some other part of the organization. They have left the organization. Now, the reports that the way they were looking at is not really relevant to the new owner. So that may need to be redone. The other reason could be that they had a private report. So they were only, nobody else was anyway looking at that report, and the owner is not there. So that report is again just lying there. So this goes back to the point where when I was highlighting public or private can also be assessed during assessment and should be for this very reason. We may not want to migrate those. Next one is redundant reports. So what do I mean by that? Uh, this maps to the reuse category in the previous slide. So when we are doing the analysis of the pilot phase reports, we are talking about whether we want to convert, whether we want to reuse, whether we want to recreate. So this is the reuse bit. These are the cases where you already have something which can get you the data that you were looking for in the way you want, or maybe better. So you don't need to migrate your existing smart reporting report and instead use whatever is available. It could be out of box report, or it could be some community contributed content. So you've seen Nikhil talk about 40, 50 plus dashboards which are already out there, and many more are in the pipeline. Product team is working on those. So keep an eye on uh, that list. It's available on BMC Docs. So see what is already out there, which may be doing things better than what you had in your old report. So instead of migrating, simply reuse the new one. Another class of reports which can be substituted are some of the simple ticketing reports and asset reports. And there are new consoles available within the product itself. So you have a ticket console, you have an asset console. Both of them will allow you to set certain filters, list out the reports. So wherever you had simple tabular reports where you were kind of just listing out certain reports based on few filter criterias, that can be done from here. These presets can be saved. This report can be exported in a CSV format. So these are very good candidates for replacing some of the simple tabular reports. Finally, the third one is bite-sized phases. So although it's very tempting that you may want to run the conversion utility for all thousands of reports that you may have, but then the bottleneck would come in when you want to validate all of them. So your end users can only look at so many reports in a given amount of time. So it's better to focus more on a small set of reports when you are planning these migration phases. That will allow both the migration team to take a closer look at it and then plan what is more appropriate decision for each of the reports, whether to convert, recreate, or reuse something existing. And after the conversion, it will again help the end users to validate the reports better. They can focus on those reports, take a closer look at it, whether the report needs any improvement or not. And when you have a large number, that's just not practical. Now let's talk about few customer case studies. So these are the customers where we were working with them, and each of them is very different. So let's just talk about these three, and that will give you again the reflection of what we discussed in last few slides, the learnings and the approach. So the number one is a large customer government department based in Europe, and they had very highly complex reports. And the approach that we took there was, since the complexity is high, we don't want to just do a waterfall approach to everything that we can. Instead, we decided that would be much more focused. Let's first understand what is out there in smart reporting. So it was divided in multiple phases. There were multiple workshops that were done to understand how they are using the smart reporting and what is the best way to go about this conversion. They had more than 5,000 reports, but then when we did deep dive analysis with them, we found only 95% of those were really priority reports. Many of the reports did not require migration, and the others were also low priority. So the focus was only 95 reports. This was done in an agile fashion. So we had 10-day sprints. Every sprint, certain number of reports was picked up for the conversion, and the number would depend on the complexity of reports, but roughly it was around 7 to 8 on an average. Then at the same time, when the conversion team was working on a set of reports, converting them in the same sprint, the validation team, the end customers were working on validating the ones that were converted in the previous sprint. So this was very agile, and it worked very well for this kind of a setup where the reports are very complex, and we don't want to uh, you know, try to do it all in a very short amount of time. Now, next one is a retail giant based out of Americas, and this is classic case of report sprawl that we talked about in the previous slide. They had 11,000 reports, more than 11,000 reports. So the approach that we took there was, first, let's filter out. So off the bat, more than half of the reports were kind of discarded because they were not needed by customer anymore. And of these filtered reports, again, it was decided while we will do the automated conversion for all, validation can only be done on a focused set. So this was done for a priority set of 381 reports. So you can see how big of a difference it has come down to. And in each of these cases, you would see that after the pilot phase, which was executed by professional service, BMC professional services, this was taken up by either by a partner for rest of the work or the customers team themselves. The next one we have is a large e-commerce giant based out of APAC, and they had close to 2,500 reports. What makes them unique is, instead of looking at the reports and their priority, they looked at the dashboards and priority of dashboards. So they had two priority dashboards, and they wanted to migrate those dashboards and all the reports that were linked to that. So this is a different way of slicing and dicing. You can either go by a report first, or you can go by dashboard first, depending on the way that you would that would suit your organization. Now, the way they did was also very much agile. It was weekly iterations, weekly sprints. So every week, certain number of reports were converted, demoed, and then validated by the end users. And every week they had a mini go live. So whatever the reports were approved, they went live in the production. So this is a very different way of doing things to achieve the same outcome. So again, depending on the organization, the process can be changed, but has to align to those same best practices. I'll quickly talk about these new features, and I won't get into details because Kshitija is going to cover those in much greater detail during the demo. The first one is Visual Query Builder. So uh, this allows you to drag and drop the fields. I'm talking about Helix dashboard here. So this allows you to drag and drop the fields, different fields from the views, and create the report. And SQL is generated automatically by this feature behind the scenes. So you don't have to worry about writing SQL yourself. And now you might wonder, how do you create a custom view? These are the views provided out of box. So for that, there is a metadata studio available, which allows you to either extend a out-of-box view or create a custom view, which will allow you to create report on top of those. Now, why this is important is, like I mentioned, there may be cases where you may want to recreate the report from scratch. And this could be that either that uh, the report, the way report was done, that can be done better in the new tool with the new features. Nikhil talked about the service ops side of things. So we are bringing together both uh, side of the business together, single pane of glass to look at both sides. So you have more data sources available to you, and some reports can be better done in using the new tool. So it's best to use Visual Query Builder to create that report. It makes things easy rather than uh, migrating the report manually or using the tool which basically migrates the SQL query. Like I said, this will be covered in the demo later. So let's move on to some of the useful resources that can help you through this journey. Number one is the product documentation. Like I talked about it multiple times during the session. Most of that information which I have covered is anyway available in the docs. So this should be your first stop when you're looking for some information. Next, we have education courses. You have already been through few prerequisite courses before attending this webinar, and there are many more available. And there is a full learning path that takes you right from basics all the way to a certification. So depending on how much detail you want to go and what would be your role, um, you can take different courses from the BMC Academy. Next is the community. So I briefly mentioned about the content that is available um, either out of box or community. So this is where you would want to go for all of that contributed content. Other than that, you can also use it for discussions, raising some questions, and not just other customers, but also BMs, various teams within BMCR looking at those posts, answering the questions. You may also find a lot of blogs, webinar recordings, other knowledge articles on the community. Also, Nikhil talked about the ideas. So if you have some improvement suggestions, you can create an idea or you can vote on the ideas created by others. the sample dashboard. So this is the content that I was talking about earlier. So other than the out-of-box dashboards, you can also take a look at community contributed content. Some of it may be useful to what you are trying to achieve. Finally, if you need help from BMC in doing some of all of the conversion, then you can reach out to professional services. There are two out-of-box catalog offerings. So these are standardized offerings where we have a specified outcome and structure listed. So that can help you get started with this journey. So the one on the left, you see it's focused around this migration, and it involves a architect working with you, understanding what is your usage, helping you uh, with the new features and the mapping into the new platform, and helping you plan those phases. After that, Helix Dashboard Expert helps you do the conversion. So it is a time-bound activity. So 200 hours of an expert are provided, and they'll help you in converting as much report as possible. Finally, it ends with a knowledge transfer of how we have done this conversion, what are the learnings and best practices. The one on the right is more suited for somebody who is starting afresh, not converting, but you want to create something in Helix Dashboard just to get started. It's structured similarly with a workshop followed by uh, the expert doing the actual creation and then knowledge transfer. That's all I had. Back to Nikhil. Nikhil, okay, Shitaji, you want to take over?
Yeah. So let me share my screen. Thank you, Abhinay. Abhinay, can you please confirm if the screen is visible with slide?
Yeah. Visible, Kshitija.
Yeah, thank you. So myself, Kshitija, and I'm going to cover Visual Query Builder feature in Helix dashboards. So Visual Query Builder is nothing but a drag-drop user interface, which will allow you to generate query on the fly just by dragging and dropping the required fields. And you don't have to worry about the SQL constructs or the data structure behind it. So that is all taken care and the query gets generated on the fly. So now if we look at this diagram, then here we can see, so let me take one example that we have, for example, incident table, wherein we have almost 100 plus fields on HPD help desk form. And we are really interested in only 25 fields out of it, which are really useful for reporting purpose. So I don't want to traverse through all the 100 fields list and then generate a query using a write field, etc., using SQL constructs. So what Visual Query Builder will do, it will just consume the metadata layer, which will be generated using Metadata Studio, and it will be able to generate query on the fly. So once you have a pre-populated metadata views for all the ITSM modules, or even if you have a custom application built um, on the Helix platform, then also you'll be able to uh, generate this metadata view using reporting metadata studio. And once this view is ready, the metadata layer is ready, then Visual Query Builder will be able to consume it and generate a query. So right now we are shipping 12 to 13 out of the box metadata views for ITSM, then for different modules of ITSM like incident change, problem, work order, task, etc. Then we have a DWP, business workflows, etc. That is already covered in out of the box metadata views. Um, Yeah, so here you can see how the data flows in Visual Query Builder. So this is Helix Dashboards UI. So here you will find a Visual Query Builder option to generate or build your query. And there will be a reporting metadata view layer, which will sit between Visual Query Builder and actual Helix data source, so that in Helix data source, if you have 100 plus fields on particular table or form, and if you want to pick only 20 fields for reporting purpose, then here in metadata view layer, you will have those 20 fields added, and those 20 fields will be available to the Visual Query Builder to generate query. So let me start with actual demo of Visual Query Builder. So before I actually starts, there are two personas which are in picture in this feature. One is the admin persona, who actually design metadata views, and the other is report designer, or in terms of dashboard permissions, it is a reporting editor who will be able to generate the panels in the dashboard using Visual Query Builder. So let me first take you to the reporting designer persona, who will actually use out of the box metadata view and will be able to generate query using that. So yeah, so I hope my screen is visible. I have opened Helix portal, and from Helix portal, I launch Helix dashboards. So I'm here now, and I'll create a new dashboard. Then I'll add visualization here. Now here, you can see under data source BMC Helix, we have query type service management. So this particular feature, Visual Query Builder, is available for service management query type. And here under type, you will see three types available now: form, SQL, and Visual Query Builder. So as you're aware of this type already, the form type, uh, form type is just, it provides a list of all remedy forms from the BMC Helix data source available. And once you select form, you'll get all the columns listed from related to that form. So if we compare the form type to Visual Query Builder, then here in form type, you need to know, for example, you have a use case where you want to join two tables. So you need to know join criteria. What is the key which I'll be using for joining the two tables, etc. And then you will be able to generate a query using these this guided flow, I'll say, in the form type. But here in Visual Query Builder, the metadata view is already ready for you, and you will have to just drag and drop the required fields and hit preview, and you're done. So, and also if you compare it with direct SQL, then in SQL, you will have to write a query. You will need to know, report designer need to understand the underlying schema and data structure. Also, he need to be aware of SQL constructs, how to write SQL query, etc. So that is something not required in case of Visual Query Builder, as it's a drag and drop UI interface. Yeah, so I'll go ahead here and select Visual Query Builder. You will see on the top, you're able to see list of views. So what is this list? So these are the metadata views available, and there are 13 out-of-the-box metadata views, which BMC is shipping out of the box. One out-of-the-box view from here. So you will see list here available: CMDB asset, incident management archive. So these are some of the out-of-the-box views which we can see. Also, here you will see some of them are created as custom metadata views using Metadata Studio. And once you publish these metadata view from Studio to the Helix dashboards, then it will start appearing in the list here on Visual Query Builder UI. So I'll cover that part later about custom metadata view. First, I'll go ahead here and select incident management, which is out of the box view. Then I'll simply drag and drop incident number. I will have aggregation as count, and I'll hit preview. I'll use this query. I'm able to see the number of incidents. Now I want to just apply visualization. I'll apply simple visualization called stat panel, and I'll add title as incident count. So this is how you will be able to generate queries or panels in the dashboard very quickly. Let's add another panel. Again, select Visual Query Builder. Select Incident Management. This time, we'll generate a pie chart to show incidents based on priority. So I'll drag, drop incident number and priority. Now, if you look at on the left-hand side, left pane, we are able to see different categories. So these categories help you to understand the fields inside it. Like under impacted areas, I have added fields which are relevant to the impacted area. Then under relationship, I have added fields which are related to association, association of incident. Like this, I have task, work detail. Then I have some calculated fields category as well. Also, we have a search option available. Like, for example, I want to look for assignee. Then I'll just type and I'll get that. And along with category, it will tell you because this assignment logs have assignee field as well as this incident details have assignee field. So based on which category the field resides in, you can decide which field you want to use. So yeah, right now I'm going ahead and again I'll add aggregate as count and I'll hit preview. So now I'm able to see a preview um, and I'm able to see incidents grouped based on priority. So here I have two options to see tabular data in preview and also what query got generated in Visual Query Builder that I can have a look at. So here you will only able to view this SQL. You will not be able to edit this SQL on this screen. Also, we have options reset. So what reset really do? Reset, when you reset, it will delete these fields and the field section will be empty and you can start it again. Then when you hit use query, the query will get copied to the panel. And here you will start seeing data in the form of table. Now I want to apply visualization again. So I'll apply pie chart and select here all values and numeric fields. So now I'm able to see bar chart, pie chart based on priority. I'll apply this and I'm done with this panel again. And I'll give a panel title as incidents by priority. Let me try adding one more visualization in this dashboard. Yeah. So here on the left pane, you are able to see different icons. So what are these icons representing? These icons represent field type. So you can see here box icon, it is representing dimensions. This impact, priority, urgency, this is representing all enum fields, all enum fields or selection type of fields. Then here you can see circular icon where it shows numeric type of fields. Then if I go down, give me a moment. Yeah. If I go down under calculated field, we have some calculated fields added in out of the box incident management view. So here you can see calculator icon, which represents calculated fields. So now what I'll do, I'll have one more report which will show you count of incidents based on priority as well as assigned group. So I'll add here again incident number, assigned group, and priority. Again, I'll go ahead and add here aggregation. So here you can see whenever I'm selecting these ellipsis icon, I'm able to see different options which are available uh, on this field. Like I can apply string functions, then I can have different aggregations. So this aggregation list also changes based on the field type. Like if I select any numeric type of field here, then you will see we have more aggregations available which are relevant to um, numeric fields like average, count, sum, mean, max, count, etc. So I'll remove. Then there is a delete option as well, which I'm using right now. Also, we have a order by option available uh, to be able to select ascending or descending order on a particular field. So now you can see on right top corner, we have use distinct option. So sometimes we don't want to use distinct. In that case, you can switch off this option. So there is a toggle which you can use based on your requirement. I'll go ahead and hit preview here. Again, you can see the result as well as the SQL based on the selected fields. I'll use this query. And this time I'll use bar chart, BMC bar chart plugin. And here I will add or more suitable plugin here will be crosstab. So I'll use crosstab here. And I will add priority in row, assign group in column, and this count field will be in value field. And you can see the result I'm able to see. Here, your panel is ready in few minutes. So that way, Visual Query Builder is very effective feature. If you want to quickly generate dashboards without understanding the SQL constructs or so it is really very quick when you look at the time required to generate these panels. So I'll come back here and I will add some filter here. Like if I'm only interested in priority equal to high. So I have just drag drop priority field here in filter section. And if I select here in value, then you will see different options. So as priority field is an enum type of field, you are able to see the values which are appearing from the database. So if you want to hard code value in query, like I want to only look at critical incidents, then I'll say critical here and apply. Then only critical priority incidents related to assigned group will appear. And so there are different options in filter section, like you can choose the operator which is suitable as per your requirement. So if you want to pass multiple values, so you can use in operator, and here you can pass multiple values as well. Then you can also use like operator, then is null, is not null, that is also available. And there are some flavors of like operator, like contains, does not contain, end with, starts with, etc. So begins with, ends with, contains. So these are some of the flavors of like operator which you can use. So one more thing is about passing the dashboard variables in the query. So how to do that? So what I'll do, I will keep this as it is to show critical incidents. Use this query and hit apply. It is showing critical only. Now, there is one more use case related to Visual Query Builder, which is how to create variables. So from dashboard settings, you have an option to add variable and give it a name. Then here you can see you have an option to enable query editor. So till now, we had only option to write a query here, and you need to know what syntax you need to follow in order to make that query work, etc. So that was very time consuming, because you have to write SQL always to create variable queries. So if you enable this query editor here and use that to generate a variable, then variable creation is really quick. So I'm going ahead and enabling this query editor. You will see similar UI appearing here. And now I'll choose priority again here and hit preview. All the distinct priority values are appearing. In case of query generation for variables, you will not be able to drop the second field here because you are looking for creating a variable query and not a report query. So this is just I have shown for your understanding. You can have filters used as per your need. So right now I'm using this query in variable, and you can see the values are already appearing, preview of values. And I'll apply. I'll save this dashboard. Here you'll start seeing priority variable with available values from the database. Now, if you want to select all, then in dashboard setting, you also have that option to have the all option selected so that all option also will start appearing in this list. Now, what I'll do, I'll pass this variable. So instead of hard coding this value, I want to pass this variable. So you will see this template priority, which is a variable it started appearing as soon as you created that. So I'll select this. You need to remove this first and then select this variable and pass it here. And now you can again hit preview. As the critical is selected, you'll start seeing critical priority incidents along with its assignment. Now I'll go ahead and select high priority, and you will start seeing the high priority incidents. So similar way, if you pass this priority filter in these two panels as well, then you will see the data accordingly. So this is the report designer persona which I wanted to cover. Also, in filters section, you have aggregation option available, which you can use. Just wanted to highlight here about the upcoming features in Visual Query Builder in 24.3, which will be released in July 1st week. So there will be in filter section, the functions will start appearing here like this. Here we are seeing string functions. You will start seeing the functions available in filter section as well. Then we have some studio related improvements also that I'll cover when I'll cover the studio part of it. So with that, I'll go ahead and start with another persona, which is admin persona, because sometimes there will be I'll not say sometimes. So there is always a requirement to generate custom metadata views, because at customer end, we have like additional fields which are added using remedy feature called overlay. So or we have altogether custom application which is developed at customer end, and we want to generate metadata view for that custom application, or maybe custom fields which are included as a part of any of the remedy form. So I'll just start showing that up. So before you start using reporting metadata studio, there are some prerequisites which you need to follow. Like if you go here in administration, you will start seeing reporting metadata studio in the administration section. And here you will see a quick overview of metadata studio, as well as you have a way to download this studio zip. And once you download this in the form of zip, you have to just unzip that. And once it is unzipped, it will look like this. The folders inside it will look like this. And there is some configuration which you have to do. That is a one-time configuration. BMC auth configuration folder. Inside that, we have environment.properties and profile.properties. So what you have to really do here, I'll show that. I'm opening environment.properties. Now, there are some parameters which you need to fill in here, like what is my tenant ID? So from where you will find all this information. So if you look at this section, here you will see tenant ID, tenant URL, then AR host, AR RPC port, REST endpoint. And environment, you can give any name. Either you can give development or any name as per your um, need. You can provide any name to the environment. So I'll go back again. So tenant ID, tenant URL, these all parameters, you will be able to get it from this page, which is available under administration. Once you fill in all these details, then there is a time to fill in the profile.properties parameters as well. So there are two parameters here, key and secret. So from where I can generate this key and secret? So again, I'll come back here in the Helix portal. So in Helix portal, if you go to the user profile, you will see my access keys here. So you can generate access keys by adding a key from here. Right now, I have added these two keys for my reference. And also you can mention the expiry date of that key. For a particular user profile, you will be able to only generate two keys at a time and keep two keys active. If I start adding the third key, you will see you have reached maximum. So if I come here and edit the existing one, from here, you will be able to copy the key details. So once you copy these key details and paste here, so for example, you will be able, so at the time of creation, you will see this secret, what is the actual secret. Right now, you are seeing it encrypted because I copied the existing key. But this is the key, and after colon, you will see secret. So by copying it from the Helix portal user profile, you will be able to paste it here and populate this profile.properties parameters. Once you are done with doing environment.properties and profile.properties, then you are ready to start using Reporting Metadata Studio. Now, Reporting Metadata Studio is a standalone utility. So if you are aware of Remedy side of Developer Studio, how it works, similar way, this will work. It will need, there are some prerequisites which are needed in order to start using Reporting Metadata Studio, which I have just covered. And also we have a good documentation around the Reporting Metadata Studio and how you should start using that. Okay, so I will go ahead and so how you can launch this studio. Let me close this and I'll show it to you. Just double click on Reporting Metadata Studio batch file and you'll be able to see the home page of studio. Till it is getting appeared. So yeah, it appeared. So this is the home page, and from here, from file menu, you will see there are different options available. So these are the three main options which we use from the studio, like import from Helix dashboard. So now there are two use cases here. Like if you want to import existing out of the box metadata view and then make some additional changes to that view and save a copy of that view, or create metadata view from the scratch. So if you want to create from scratch, go to file menu, new, and domain file. Then blank screen will appear here, and these two categories will appear on the left pane, and you will be able to start from there. Now, what I'm trying to use is, I'll show by modifying existing out-of-the-box incident management metadata view. So when I selected option to import from Helix dashboard, then a list of metadata views are appearing. So out-of-the-box views are prefixed with OOTB, and others which you can see are related to our custom metadata views which are created. So I'll go ahead and select incident management out of the box view. I'll give it some name. Now you will start seeing the view which I've loaded. Yes. So this is out of the box metadata view. On the right hand side, you can see object relationship diagram. So these are the tables which are involved in the business model for incident management. And this is a join between help desk and association, for example. And if you click on this, double click on this line, then you will see a relationship between the two table along with what key was used. So along with a join criteria, you'll be able to see that information. So now what I need to do here. So I'll start with a connection. So whenever you are trying to fetch metadata from AR system database, which is a remedy data source, you need to connect to that. So right now I have selected out of the box view. Hence, you are able to see the inside connection. We have connection object already established. So I'll go ahead and edit this. So if you edit, you'll see on the right side, you will have a connection URL, which is already pre-populated. So from where this is pre-populated? From the environment.properties, whatever parameters you have passed related to this AR system server, it has generated the connection URL using that. So these all things are pre-populated. You just have to fill in username and password. So I'll select I'll test this connection. Once the connection is successful, you can see it is successful. We are good to go ahead. So you will see here a list of physical tables which are already available in this. And I want to now add one more table. So I'll right click and select import tables. Here I'll see list of tables from Remedy data source. Now I can search as well here, like I'm interested in incident activity log. So I'll just hit OK. And now you'll start seeing the new table which got added here in the list. Yes. Here, the new table got added. Now I want to make this table part of a business model. So here as well, under business model, as I am referring to the existing view, you will see the business model already there, and you will have to just make changes as per your need. Like I have added this table, then maybe you want to add few columns from that table and make it a part of your custom view. So that part I'm just trying to cover here. So you will see this business model. In case of creating metadata view from scratch, you will have to right click on this business model and say new business model, and then give it a name and save it. Once you save that model, this will appear like here. Now, you can see under business model, I have these three sections: business table, relationship, and business view. So business table, you have all the existing tables except this. So this I have added just newly. So I'll again right click here and say new business table. And here you will see list in the list, new table is already there. So you will just select that and hit OK. Now, this new table also will get added. So here you can give any name as per your choice. So by default, it gives a name like BT. BT stands for business table. Business table underscore what's your name of the form in Remedy. That appears by default, but you can change it as per your need. Only the thing is, in ID, you cannot have spaces. You just can generate it with underscore or dash, something like that. Here again, this is just a display label. So you can, again, change a name as per your choice here. As per your reference, you can change it. I'm keeping the name same as Remedy for my better understanding. Then once this new table becomes a part of business model, then we have a way to create relationship. So I can generate a relationship between HPD help desk and this new table. Also, so I'm going to show the existing relationship here, like HPD help desk and association. There are different join types you can have, like left outer, right outer, and inner join. So just to clarify, this full outer join is not yet in support. from the Helix platform perspective. So you will be able to use left outer, right outer, and inner join. Then we have a way to select complex join. So what is really use of complex join? It is if you have additional criteria for joining tables apart from your key, if you want to specify anything else, like for example here, in case of incident to HPD associations table join, I have joined this using these keys. But if I select complex join, then I'll be able to configure or define this condition plus additional conditions, like I can say only get incidents with um, critical priority or something like that. So you can pass any additional criteria along with this key criteria for joining these two tables. So that becomes a complex join. And from here, you will be able to validate that formula. So there are certain syntax which we need to follow here again. That is all documented and available on BMC documentation. So from here, you'll be able to add a join condition. And when you hit OK, it will start appearing here. And if you have any additional condition, then also you'll be able to define and validate that. So I'll cancel that for now. And let's go ahead and in business view section, we have different categories. So if you go to manage categories, you will see on the left hand side, you'll see list of business tables. And on the right side, you will see list of categories. And under that, you will see the selected fields, which are already part of business model. So I want to add here new category called activity log. Okay, in ID, you cannot have spaces. And here I can have, in the label, I can have space. Here, new category started appearing. Now, from this new table, I want to add submitter, create date, person ID, work log submitter, etc. So I have chosen 4 fields. And here also you need to select under which category you want to add these 4 fields from the left. So I have selected this activity log category. And now when I hit this arrow, these 4 fields got added inside activity log category. I'll hit OK. I'll save this. Will quickly generate a relationship between the new table and HPD help desk as well. So I'm selecting a key with which I'm trying to join the 2 tables. And here I'll select left outer and I'll say OK. Now this new relationship also got generated here. So once I'm ready with all the changes, then I can say hit save. It will save this model locally first. Locally means it will not generate any file, XML file locally. It will just save that model for recovery purpose. So it is in um, encrypted format. So it's not accessible to the uh, user who is using this studio. But once you will save this, then you'll be able to go to File, Publish to Helix Dashboards. And here, again, you are able to see the options. So Publish to Helix Dashboard means if you are done with developing this view, then and you want to publish this to the actual, let's say, dev environment, you will be able to do that. So here I can see one more option to configure tenant environment. So I'll just click here first. And so what this dialog meant for, or what this option is for. So for example, I'm creating a custom view on dev environment and I want to publish that view from dev to then QA as well. Then I'll publish it again to prod as well. So in that case, I'll have the 3 environments configured here. So right now I'm connected to dev environment, for example. Then I want to configure second environment, which is QA. So what I'll do here, I'll have environment action as add. So here there are 3 actions available. You can delete the configured environment, edit it, or add a new. So here we are using add because we want to add new environment, which is a QA environment. And then have the user key and secret ready for your QA environment. Then you will get all these details again from the administration, and this page particularly, you will get all these details. Again, fill in those details on this UI. Okay, right. And once you have filled in all these details, hit OK to save this new environment. Once you save this new environment, you will start seeing here in the list. So right now I'm able to see one environment, which is a demo environment. I have given it a name as demo. You can have a dev, QA, and prod. These 3 environments you can configure. So right now I'm publishing it to the demo environment. It will ask you what name you want to give for your view. I'll say incident demo 19 something. So, and I'll hit OK. It will take a minute to publish this view to the Helix dashboards. And once this view is published, we'll look at the Visual Query Builder if that view appears. See, you can see metadata view for this tenant ID got successfully published to Helix dashboards. Now, if we go here again to home, new dashboard, add visualization, select Visual Query Builder, and here you will be able to search as well if the list is big. So incident demo 19, which I have just created. And once it is loaded, you'll able to see activity log, and 4 fields inside it, which appeared for getting it used in the visual query builder and will be able to help generating query. So let me come back here again to show more features around it. The one which is the last which I want to talk is about the delete metadata view functionality. So in case you have created metadata view and if you are not interested in keeping that and you have already published that view, but uh, it was just for trial purpose or you want to discard that, then you can use this option delete metadata view and select this. Maybe I'll select this new INC, which is custom view. And so it asks you for confirmation before deleting. And it tells you that it is deleted successfully. Also, one more thing which need to be noted here is about you will not be able to delete out of the box metadata views. It will not appear here. So again, we have a option to generate calculated fields as well. So whenever we are generating a query, we have such requirements which are very common that we need to have certain calculations based on some status or so we need to write case when statements in order to uh, get that requirement fulfilled. For example, if I want to manage assignee field, so if assignee is null, I don't want to show blank. I want to show unassigned instead of that blank value. So how to do that? Then I'll have to configure or generate calculated field. And in that calculated field formula, I will specify that case when the assignee field is null, then set it as unassigned. Else, whatever assignee name you will have, set that value. So like this, you will have to generate formula. How to achieve that in this metadata view? So we have a calculated fields creation available in the metadata view side only right now. There is so there is no currently option available on Visual Query Builder. Uh, Here, you will not be able to generate calculated fields. You will have to generate those calculated fields in metadata view, and then those will appear here. Because Visual Query Builder is mainly focused on drag drop UI, and you don't have to really worry about the formula or the SQL constructs behind that. So in Visual Query Builder UI, you don't have calculated fields creation option given here. From here, admin will be able to create calculated fields, and once it becomes a part of your metadata view, Visual Query Builder UI will be able to consume that. So here I can see list of calculated fields. I'll open one and just show what you need to do and how to create this calculated field. So there are some some examples you can see like open incident, resolve incidents, then MTTR in days, how it is calculated. So like this, if I want to get pending incidents, for example, then how I'll do that. So there are some steps. Go to the business table. For example, for pending incidents, I'll need incident number. So incident number field exists in business, this HPD help desk table. So I'll double click this. Once you double click, you will be in the properties of that selected business table. And here on left pane, you will see add a new column option. So from here, you will start seeing the existing columns. For example, I'll see incident number here. So you can select any column from here. As we are just going to change all the details of that and make it work based on what formula we are going to define. So you'll click OK. Once you hit OK, you will start seeing one more incident number. So on the top as well, you have already incident number. Now this is second time it got added. Now I want to change it and say pending incidents. So I want to treat it differently to achieve the requirement. Now here, there is an override option. You will use that override and then say pending incidents. Okay. And then, so in aggregation, default aggregation is none, but as you want to get pending incidents count, you will choose sum as aggregation maybe. And then the return type of your calculated field or formula will be number, right? So as I'm going to get a pending incidents count, so I'll choose data type here. So all changes I'm doing using this override. So it is showing me what data type is in the base data source, but I want to change it and make it work based on my formula. So now if my formula is going to return me numeric, I'll say this numeric. And you can specify the length as well in case needed. Otherwise, you can keep as it is. So this is done. Then field type. So we are following certain rules to create calculated field. Like field type should be fact in case of calculated field. So select that as a fact. Then under calculation section, you have formula and is the formula exact flag. So first in formula, we will add override and you will see I have already written this formula, which is sum of case when this HPD help desk dot status equal to pending. So then count it as 1, else 0. So what it will do, it will get me count of pending incidents. So I'll copy this formula. So this is also again how to create calculated fields is explained in the BMC documentation as well. Or you can refer to the out of the box calculated fields and look at the formula. Then you will understand that how it is generated. It is the case when statements are much more similar to the smart reporting. So here, if you see, I have used this HPD help desk, which is what is this name? This is the business table name of HPD help desk. So you need to use ID of that business table, HPD underscore help underscore desk. And status is again your name of a field, database name of a field you need to use. After following this formula syntax and generating this formula, then there is here a flag called is the formula exact. So what this formula do? So when you select this formula, then while generating the query, that query generation algorithm will not interfere in this formula. It will just take this formula as it is and use it in the query. It will not apply any SQL or any query related rules to this. So this is also need to be selected in case of calculated field. So once you're done with all these steps, it's time to hit OK. And you will see pending incidents calculated field is ready to be used. Now, this is just part of the business table, HPD help desk. Now, how it will become a part of business view? Again, go to manage categories, and here under HPD help desk, we added this additional calculated field and put it in the any section. You can put this field. No, not necessary like you have to put it in calculated fields category only. Just for a good understanding, we have created this calculated fields as a separate category for out of the box views. So I'll keep this under this calculated fields category, close it and save this change. After saving this change, if I publish it again, then this calculated field also will start appearing. So with this, actually, I have covered almost all the part of Visual Query Builder and Metadata Studio. Also will have the documentation references for this Visual Query Builder and Studio both, which you can refer and start using this. And I'll say this is really a good option if you are migrating from smart reporting to Helix dashboard. As in smart reporting, you already have a view concept, and that view or that object relationship, you can use it as a reference and generate the custom metadata view here. And from there, you will start using Visual Query Builder. And in long term, as a long-term goal, this Visual Query Builder, it will help you. If tomorrow you want to add any new fields, once admin persona adds that new fields, it will be available for the other reporting designer to use it in Visual Query Builder. And the last part which I want to cover, it is about once you generate query using Visual Query Builder, and maybe some of the features which are not available in Visual Query Builder, and you want to use that, and you want to switch your between the types, then how to do that? Then once you have generated a query using Visual Query Builder, you can change the type to SQL, and your query which you have generated so far using Visual Query Builder will remain as it is. But once you select this SQL, then you will be able to edit that and add some additional logic in case required to do that. So that's yeah. So thanks. I will hand it over to Nikhil.
Thank you, Kshitija, for a very detailed product demo. We'll now proceed to the last section of this workshop, which is the product roadmap. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Right, so we saw how using Visual Query Builder, we now have a drag and drop interface to create reports. We no longer require people to write SQL to create reports. This feature is generally available, and we'll continue to add capabilities to make it easier for you to use VQB. We have delivered several metadata views out of the box across the entire range of service management products in ITSM, incident, change, problem, and so on. We've got one on the roadmap, which is around knowledge management. We've got business workflows. We also got digital workplace. What's on the roadmap is chatbot or virtual agent. So we saw how you can extend the capabilities of Visual Query Builder to your customizations, custom fields, custom forms, custom applications in Innovation Studio. You can do all of this using Reporting Metadata Studio. So you create that metadata view once or extend the existing ones. And once you do that, that view can be used in VQB for developing reports without having to write SQL. Another feature on our roadmap is the ability to apply filters on the view automatically to all reports. So for example, for statutory purposes or for any reason, you want to apply a condition or a filter to every report that's created on a view, you can now do it automatically by applying that filter on the metadata view. So this is something that's coming in one of our upcoming releases. Custom roles is another recent innovation. We are decoupling access control from BMC Helix portal. With this, you'll have more granular control over roles and permissions within dashboards. You can manage the permissions for each role. So as you can see in the screenshot, for every role, you can define what that role is allowed to do in dashboards, create view, in folders, create or view, data sources, calculated fields, and so on. You define what permissions every role has. You cannot change anything for the out-of-the-box roles, but you certainly can create custom roles, and you get to define what permissions your custom roles have. Once you do that, you link users. You first remove the relationship of those, or remove the out-of-the-box roles that you have granted to your users, and then you assign your users your new custom roles. So some of the use cases that are possible with custom roles is the ability to allow only specific roles to download reports. We have some customers who want to allow only specific users to download reports. So we can now create custom roles and link those users to those roles. You can restrict access to certain folders to specific roles. For example, business workflows. You can do that. There's already access control at the application layer, but this is a second layer of security through which you can control access to even view certain folders. Likewise, managing data sources, managing schedules. All of these things can be done. A few more use cases on our roadmap are the ability to restrict editors report editors to create reports only from VQB. So as the type of the report, you can prevent users from writing SQL to create reports. You can force them to use VQB only. We have use cases for managed service providers, so allowing MSPs to leverage the authentication mechanisms for every tenant in service management. We're going to do that. We're also considering MSP use cases for ITOM, wherein an ITOM MSP that manages several customers can now have data in one dashboard coming from multiple tenants. And every tenant will, their access is restricted to just to their own data, but your admins can have access to all the data. That's how we roll up all the tenants' data at the admin level. We continue to build dashboards out of the box, service management, operations management, and that will continue in the future as well. Usage statistics, there's an admin dashboard that we are going to build that will give you insights into how dashboards are being used, which dashboards are used the most, which ones are not used, which dashboards were used recently, which are your most active users in creating or viewing dashboards. All of this will be available through an audit dashboard. A new visualization on our roadmap is a geomap visualization that will allow you to, this is especially useful for IoT or edge devices, where you can visualize the distribution, the geographical distribution of your assets on a map. It could be a world map or it could be a map of a region. You can visualize all your assets belonging to that area. We will also enable the implementation of dashboard widgets in application consoles within business workflows, ITSM, and so on. We'll be able to embed dashboards so that users don't have to leave the Smart IT UI or the business workflows UI for certain dashboards. We can potentially embed dashboards on their homepage or their landing page when they log into those products. With Marketplace, we will allow customers and partners to build content, that is dashboards, and release them so that other customers can benefit from their reports and dashboards. Partners especially have an opportunity to contribute content to the community and get recognition for their work. A self-service guided workflow for building dashboards will be useful for novice report developers or editors so that we walk them through a step-by-step guided workflow for building a dashboard. When you want to build a new report, where do you start with? How do you select the data source? How do you select the visualization? When do you set up the query? All these can be managed through a guided workflow. With that, we come to the end of this workshop. I'm now going to stop sharing and we'll take your questions now. Okay, so Mayanat, do you have any questions? Mayanat, I've unmuted you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. When can we export dashboard audits? This is on our roadmap for an upcoming release within the next 6 months. What other questions do you have? Are there any plans of supporting regex expressions in scripting? Kshitija, can you respond to this one?
Yeah. Are there any plans of supporting regex expression in the scripting? Regex You mean in SQL or in any particular type you're expecting? In the scripting means in the query, in the panel edit section, right? More in SQL query. Yeah. I think so. If you're expecting it in SQL, then in transform, we have certain options to use regex, or in different visualizations, we have option to use and match it based on the regular expression. So you can try using transform option for regular expressions, which is available as a tab in uh, the query edit section.
Okay. Now the concern is like, see, more of transformations or like kind of things. Like I felt like the regex expression in the SQL query is more useful, and it helps on more of a dynamic way or something. Like I feel in few scenarios the transformation is not helping out, or
Okay.
quite challenging things. So that's why, like, is there any plan of implementing or like supporting regex expressions in the SQL query itself, or a SQL scripting?
So well, if you are migrating certain things, or you have used it, smart reporting already, so was it working in smart reporting earlier?
No, I haven't tried that regex
Okay.
expression in smart reporting.
Okay. Then I think I'll have to come back and on this, because I'll have to try it out if it really works in SQL. In transform it works, that I'm aware, but in SQL I'll have to try and come back.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions, Mayanant?
No, I'm good with this. Actually, the session was good, really. Like, see, it covers a lot of topic, and it was a more informative than, like, we are recently migrated from smart reporting to dashboard,
Okay.
and uh, it's like we I felt like we have used a very minimal percentage of dashboard utilization.
May I know which company you work for?
CSG International.
CSG, okay.
So
And now what's your plan of migrating over completely to dashboards?
we have migrated a couple of like really used smart reporting, the reports from smart reporting. We haven't migrated the whole reports. So we are looking for the end users, or like utilization, how they want it in the dashboard section side. So actually, I was little more of a metadata studio, so it was quite helpful. Like so we can build it, or like we can include a lot of things in this. So it was really useful one.
Yes, absolutely. Please go ahead, download Metadata Studio, start getting hands-on for any customizations you have in ITSM or IS, wherever. You can use Metadata Studio to extend the out-of-the-box views.
So can we use Innovation Studio tables in metadata studio as well?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so that's a great thing.
So you can create completely new metadata views on any apps that you have created in IS.
Okay, so will that cover calm around related knowledge articles as well? Like I
Not yet.
can.
So that's a
Uh,
roadmap item. Com around is on the roadmap.
okay. Okay.